As I was stepping on the cement ground with my auntie, enjoying the heat of the almost summer sky and closing my eyes, my life went opposite. Now I don't know exactly what happened, but hearing and listening to the beginning of my life from others' perspectives does say something about me. I was only 1 year old when I was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor, this putting everyone who was surrounding me in a stressful situation. The benign brain tumor caused me to have a weak right side and my right foot to turn into a permanent foot drop. I have dealt with this when I was a baby up to now, my teenage years. Due to having a foot drop in my life, it was hard for me to fit into school, in society, and relate to others. Discriminated against, and a joke, leaving me levitated deep into my own thoughts, causing anxiety, sadness, isolation, abandonment. The stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. I found myself in a bad position. I was so sad and hurt inside that I told myself it is time for a change. And I changed. I always wanted to make a change in the world when I was a little girl, and I will. I'll be the first top high fashion model who has a physical disability. My dream was always to be a model. I love the idea of modeling. The way you try to build up movements in order to present a piece of art, while being the main source of expressing the clothing and defining the presentation of the art. I always wanted to make a change in the world when I was a little girl, and I will. I will inspire children with disabilities to chase their dreams and desires, regardless of the barriers people or things bring out to them, regardless of the trauma they may have. The children who cry at night and realize if Lauren can do it, I can do it. What I have done is I started to unlock barriers for myself, connect with people, read books involving the industry, and researching. Joy, beauty, euphoria, inner peace, and acceptance. Resilience. They say happiness can only exist in acceptance and resilience. So that is what I thought too. No matter what issues you are facing presently, your race, the orientation you identify as, if you have a disability, don't let that block you of what you are doing and aiming for and affect your grind.
COVID was a tough time for everyone, but it affected young people the most. Kids were forced to continue their education online, but that came with a whole new wave of problems. I was in 5th grade when I heard that school might shut down for 2 weeks. I was ecstatic, but totally oblivious to the amount of problems this new virus would bring. After being thrown into online school, I soon realized that every day was the same. Wake up at 8 a.m., log to Zoom school by 8:30 while eating breakfast. Classes until noon. Next, a 30-minute lunch break, and classes until 3, and homework till 7. My mental and physical health quickly deteriorated after being stuck inside, slaving away at the school system, and not going outside to see friends. Just in a matter of weeks, I noticed that I didn't like to do the things I used to, such as hanging out with friends or spending time outside. I would spend my days indoors. I made the excuse I didn't get the time to get outside, but I knew that wasn't the case. Because of this, I started to suffer from depression. Because of the depression, I never felt like eating a lot. My mind was always on something else and never thought of how I was contributing to bad physical health. During lunch breaks, instead of going outside, I would eat lunch at my desk while watching mindless videos. On the weekends, instead of trying to learn something new or going outside, I would spend countless hours playing my favorite video games. It was extremely hard to stay focused during online school because I wasn't actually there, in person, and I got easily distracted. It was hard to consume the information because of this, and my grades showed that. Finally, in April of 2021, we were finally able to go back into in-person school. When I walked into my 6th grade classroom, I was astonished. Everyone was wearing masks, staying 6 feet apart, and there were plastic screens on all the desks. While it was better than online school, it had many drawbacks. Despite these drawbacks, I learned to make the most of a bad situation and to value the small things in life. Now things are a lot better. I've stabilized my mental and physical health. When I realized that I could be wasting my life, I took a break from the screens and asked myself a question. Will the things I am currently doing help myself in any way in the future? My answer was no. I started to work on self-improvement, working out, going on walks, and reading more books. It's great. I feel a lot better mentally and physically. School is a lot better as well. While there are still masks, there are no screens, and their learning environment has improved very much to a point where I can focus without getting distracted. My grades have improved a lot due to that. Looking back on it, if I had the chance to redo my experience in COVID, I would have definitely been more aware of my body. I would have eaten more and gone outside to exercise and hang out with friends. In addition, I would have paid more attention to my depression to try and find a solution to it, or find a way to cope. That doesn't mean I would ever want to go back to online school or COVID. I learned many valuable life lessons because of it. It was an experience that I'll certainly never forget.
Ever since I was a little boy, it's been hard expressing myself with other people. Sometimes I don't have the confidence to put myself out there. I want to speak out and be less quiet. I feel confident around people I'm close with, but it's hard to meet and connect because I'm shy around people I don't know. I want to have the confidence to understand things in general. Instead of talking, I listen. I think that's why I love music so much. Thank you, Mom, for inspiring me. I remember when I was little, me and my mom were at a party and my mom took me out to dance, and ever since then I love to listen and dance to music. Music helps me release stress. Music helps me stay focused. Music lets me express my feelings. Moving forward, I would like to be a talker and not just a listener, but still I'm proud that I can stay quiet when I want to and be myself and stay chill. In the future, I want to have the confidence. As I get older, I want to know how to talk about my feelings. When I get older, I would like to travel around the world and go places I've never been before and learn new stuff and be less quiet. But to be a good talker, it helps to be a good listener first.
I have had a pretty busy life. My life consists of school, sports, homework, sleep, repeat. But somehow, I still manage to cram all my hobbies in between these four main categories. My journey of balancing all these things started during COVID. COVID changed my life. Be it for the better or worse, it changed me. A lot. Obviously, I'm now in high school, where expectations are high and free time is low. But COVID was the real marking point for this big shift in my life. Before COVID, whenever I didn't have school, I had sports and no time focused on myself to see what I really wanted to do. All of a sudden, I had hours of free time on my hands, and all the energy I used to put into sports suddenly had nowhere to go. This also became the first time my household had a Wi-Fi. Due to online school, I was spending an increasing amount of time in front of the screen, getting bored, and playing petty online games. As COVID was predicted to take a few weeks, I was still hopeful, but after a whole year wasted, lying in bed, I was devastated. How long until it was over? When would it stop? I decided I had to do something with all this free time. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't start some crazy gym transformation or get cracked at soccer, which I will admit would have been time well spent, but I decided to explore the internet, an alien term to me at this point. Before online school, I didn't even know what the word Mac was, much less what internet even meant. But I made it my mission to know everything about computers. Once I discovered the meaning behind U and tube, I began speeding up my process of learning about computers. Inevitably, curious as I am, I became interested in what made this all function and what was behind this clever machine. COVID gave me the opportunity to explore hobbies that I never would have dreamed about, including coding, 3D modeling, graphic design, game development, video editing, and finally filmmaking, which led me to making this film. I enjoyed these things so much because they encouraged me to explore and create things. Basically, I became a computer geek. As I slowly began entering in-person school, I was worried about how my new interests would be accepted at my school environment. I began worrying a lot that I didn't make a good use of the time I had during COVID. Luckily, the school that I went to, people had very similar experiences to what I had, and this really helped me realize that it was okay to have new interests. Everybody had lost something during COVID and gained something during COVID. I slowly began doing sports again, but with more balance between sports and my new interests. Moving forward, I know that I will have to carefully balance my time, school, and sports as I enter high school. I have found new interests, but will continue to explore even more hobbies going forward. I encourage you to explore new things and find what you truly love.